Hi guys, this is a quick demo to take you through how you are going to set up your programming for your buttons. So you can see here I've got 5 buttons laid out on different layers. They're actually not even buttons yet. I'll take you through the process of creating those. They're actually just shapes. These are just representative of the graphics you've already imported in. So the first thing we're going to want to do is actually set up some space in our timeline for our subpages. And what I'm going to recommend that you guys do is that you do that about every 100 frames. Now right now you guys don't have your subpages designed, and that's okay. We're just going to go ahead and set up some temporary content for ourselves. So what I'm going to do here is make a new layer. I'm going to go ahead and call this guy here page 1. I would recommend that you name it something that's a little bit more specific towards your actual site. So whether it's your about page, or it is your discography, or any of the pages, name it something that's a little bit more specific than what I'm doing here. But so I have, there we go. So I've got my page, or my layers in place here for my pages. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually set up some temporary content. So I'm going to start with my page 1 layer, and I'm going to go ahead out to frame 100, and I'm going to insert a blank keyframe there. And just as temporary placeholder, I'm going to use my text tool here. And we'll just set up something that's a little easier for you guys to see. Alright, so this is my temporary content then for that page. I'm going to do the same thing then for page 2, and I'll do that out here on frame 200. So again, I'll insert a blank keyframe, and we'll go ahead and type out page 2. And for my page 3 layer, once again, same thing. We'll insert a blank keyframe. Once again, get some temporary content out there. Alright. So page 4, again, I insert a blank keyframe. Once again, I throw in some temporary content here. And last but not least, we'll go ahead and get our keyframe in for page 5. Alright, looking good. So I'm going to head on back down to my home page here. And what we'll do is, finally, we'll make a layer here where we're going to call it labels. And I'm going to go ahead and then add frame labels in place then for all of my pages. So for now, my home page will be on frame 1. So I'll make sure that my frame is selected. I'll come on over to the property inspector, and I'll give that the frame label of home. On frame 100, I will insert a blank keyframe. I'll call this guy page 1. Again, I would recommend that you probably label your frame labels something more specific than what I'm doing here. Like I mentioned earlier, so if it's your band's about page, go ahead and name it about, or about page. If it's the discography, go ahead and name it discography. With your frame labels, make sure there are no spaces in the names of your labels. Very important. Alright, so page 5. Good deal. So we got all that taken care of. We can now go on back to the home page, And you'll notice, again, I haven't done any animation or anything at this point yet. And it's important that you not do anything to your buttons until or the graphics that are your buttons, until you actually turn them into buttons and give them button names. So I'm going to go ahead and convert this guy to a button symbol. I'll name him button 1, and I'm going to actually give him the instance name of button 1. So this gets a little bit repetitive, bear with me. I'm just going to go ahead and name this guy button 2, give him an instance name of button 2, and I'll just kind of hammer this out all along the way here. So he is button 3, instance name of button 3. Button 4, button 4, and last but not least here, our button 5. Okay, finally, to wrap this up, I need a script, and that's going to happen on our actions layer. So I'll make a new layer, we'll call it actions. We're going to want to add the action directly above frame 1, right above where our buttons are sitting. So I'll open up my actions palette. And let's get down to it. So we'll start with button 1. So button 1, we're going to add an event listener to it. I'm going to go ahead and get this in place here. So it's a mouse event that it's listening for. The specific event is a click. And the function that I'm going to make when button 1 has been clicked, I'm going to go ahead and call it go to page 1. So that's the function name that I just created, so I'll need to actually make the function for it. So function, go to page 1. And up in my brackets here, that is an event colon mouse event. And what we're going to then do is we're going to tell that function to go to and stop on the frame label that I called page 1. Actually, that needs to be in quotations. And it's important, case sensitivity is key here. I don't remember actually if I called it page 1 capitalized or not, but it has to match up perfectly. So I'm going to take a look in my labels layer here. Sure enough, it was a lowercase page 1. And that's, that's where this script is telling this to jump to. It's telling it to jump to that label there. So when we click on button 1, it's going to jump to that label in our timeline where our page 1 content is. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just save this real quick. And I'm going to test that out, make sure that she works. And I'm getting an error there. I want to take a look at that real quick. It's saying that I've got a duplicate label. So let's go take a look. When you get a duplicate label error like that, it basically means that I've got two labels that are named the same. So you can see here, page 1, page 2, we're good there. Page 3, so far so good. Aha, that's probably our culprit right there. So this guy I named page 5, he should actually be page 4. Let's just go make sure that my page 5 label's okay. Yeah, he's named page 5. Okay, so we're good. All right, so now that I cleared that up, my file, well, we're still missing something here, and that is I need a stop script in place here. So let's get that in place, and there we go. And let's go ahead and click on button 1, and sure enough, it takes me to page 1, so we're in good shape there. Okay, cool. The rest of this comes together pretty quickly because I can really just copy and paste this stuff at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to button 2. I'm going to add an event listener. I'm going to tell it to go to page 2. And if I change the function name here, I've got to do the same here. And I'm going to go ahead and tell it then to actually go to the label for page 2. I'll take care of button 3 now. So it's the instance name I have to change, the function that I'm calling out, and then the function name, as well as the location that I'm going to. We've got button 4, so we'll say go to page 4, go to page 4, go to and stop page 4. All right, and button 5, button 5, button 5, and there we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save that, and I'm going to test this out. So I'm looking there, good there. Notice my buttons disappear, so that becomes a little bit of a problem. So what I'll do is move this actions out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. So if I want my buttons to extend across the whole project, what I can do is go all the way out to frame 500 out here. And on my buttons layer, I'm just going to right click, actually shift click across all these layers. Right click, and I will insert just a regular frame. Remember, the last frame of a frame sequence looks like a square. That's A-OK. And now when we test this out, I can click on these. My buttons now stay in place. And obviously my temporary content's a little sloppy. It jumps around, but that's fine for this step. That's nothing wrong with that at all. And you can see I can jump freely from any of these pages very nicely. And that does it. Hope this was a help. Obviously, it's a video. Watch it, play it, pause it, watch it again, do what you need to do with it, and don't be afraid to